It's Only Sport with Martin Devlin on the platform. Brought to you by One New Zealand. Let's get connected.
Well, he's been a great mate of our show for a good 20 years and more. Eric Thompson from the Herald joins us live. Hey, mate. Welcome.
How are
in.
you, Marty?
Bloody good. Let's talk about that to start with, because Ricciardo went in with a couple of laps to go, got fresh tyres, goes out there, skins it, doesn't he? Gets a lap, so he gets a point for that. And it was just kind of like a bit of show at the end of it that just is he can still drive. But does this now mean, because they've hinted and flirted at it, does this now mean Liam Lawson has got that car for the rest of the season?
Well, I think, Marty, you just have to watch Daniel Ricciardo's interview post-race. He was quite emotional and, didn't want to say too much and sort of said it might be. I'm not too sure yet. We're waiting to see. But he didn't look like somebody who's going to be racing in Austin, Texas at the next round. And also that point thing, there's been a bit of discussion about that because Lando has now eaten into Verstappen's lead even more. And if Lando had got that extra point, because he had the fastest lap until then, and they hauled Ricciardo in, and people were sort of going, well, why on earth are they hauling him in? He's way down the back of the field. They put a new set of tyres, real super soft, sticky tyres on him, and it's just like, what's all that about? Booyakash! Suddenly he does the fastest lap, and Lando doesn't get the extra point. So there's some illusion, shall we say, or misdirection that it was planned by Red Bull.
Okay.
To try and keep the point away from Lando. But Lando absolutely monstered the field, destroyed the field, 20-plus seconds up on Verstappen. So that's a big statement, a really big statement.
So since he last won, which was in Spain on June the 24th, we have had Austria, Britain, Hungary, Belgium, the Dutch GP, Italy, Baku, and now Singapore. That's 8, and Max Verstappen hasn't won any of those races. Now, he started the season off by winning, the first 5, something like that. This time last year, they went to Singapore after they had won 10 in a row. And I remember you saying to us that, oh, no, this track doesn't suit them. I couldn't even believe it. I just thought, my God, what do you mean? Their car's so much faster. What is it about his car at the moment, and why is he so far behind? And there doesn't seem to be anything that they are doing at the moment to bridge that gap.
Well, the car was okay in the first half dozen races. Like you said, Marty, he was actually quite on top of everybody else. But they brought a whole lot of upgrades. Now, normally upgrades mean an improvement. Mm-hmm. Well, these upgrades haven't improved the car too much. And during practice and even the start of qualifying, he was complaining about it sliding around and slipping, and there was no grip, and the front wouldn't turn around the front axle. And there's just something, the balance of it just isn't quite there. Some people are saying it's because Andrew Newey, who developed that car for the last 7 years, 10 years, is now moved and is now going to work at Aston Martin next year. So some are saying it's his influence, but I just think it's a bit like Mercedes, Marty, years ago when they went one direction and the rest of the pack went the other direction and they lost the whole season. But one interesting thing about 7 to 8 wins, races without a win, maybe he'll get the double factor, if there's such a thing, or the double, because remember he won 10 races on the trot. I wonder if he's going to lose 10 races on the trot.
10 on the trot. Okay, so these are his results. Max Verstappen, 5th, 2nd, 5th, 4th, 2nd, 6th, 5th, 2nd. I mean, okay, there's a pattern there. He's had a couple of 6s and 5ths, but he's actually got on the podium mostly. So he's there or thereabouts, but that's not good enough in F1.
No. The only saving grace is he's still got quite a comfortable
He's got
lead.
52 points with 6 races to go.
Yeah, but it was 70 plus 3 races ago. So it's been well and truly eaten into it, and he really needs to stay within sight or touching distance of Norris or Piastri if he's up front as well.
8.7 points a race needed by Norris. So effectively, if Verstappen finishes second mostly from here, he still gets it. But I'm just talking about the psychological impact here, because there's a couple of other factors at play. Max Verstappen, if you haven't been reading people, is very upset about them telling him not to swear.
It's just...
Now, he's actually, it's kind of like, going back to rugby tackle school. He's been told he has to go and do some kind of community group stuff or something for swearing at a press conference or something. And he's just going, if you want me out of this sport, I'll leave this sport. Yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I argued with Lachlan about this last week, mate, about how, drivers in their cars dropping F-bombs when they're racing at 300k, talking to their pit crew, is no one else's business but theirs. If we get to hear it, then we have to bear it. That's as far as I'm concerned. It's like if you want to put a microphone in the rugby field like I do in the scrums, I'd love to hear that. And I'm prepared as an adult to hear whatever's going on. I think they should put a a stump mic in the cricket so that when these morons start sledging each other, we actually get to hear the filth that they're actually saying, because it'll stop. And if you're talking to an F1 driver and he's actually in the height of his emotion racing at that, and you're always in fear of your life because you're driving a car at 300k, then if a little boy or girl hears that and it's going to dramatically affect their life for the rest of their life, well, you need to get a life for a start, okay? Because mum and dad are teaching kids about this, not Max Verstappen. That's my attitude.
Exactly, Marty. I totally agree. And I've always had an issue with sports people being role models. You only get one set of role models in your life, and that's your parents.
They live in your house.
The rest is just entertainment. But interestingly enough, when Lewis Hamilton said to Max, I hope he doesn't serve his community, fine or penalty, and Max turned around and just went, yeah, it's okay for him to say it. He's not the one that got pinged.
Yeah,
so it's just But the thing is, Max Verstappen would potentially walk away. He doesn't need F1.
That's what he says.
And you can say F1 doesn't need Max Verstappen. Possibly true.
I disagree.
But if he goes and some of the others are going, well, we'll just go. There's a lot of other categories around there that would sign up most of that field overnight. But for the head of the FIA to come out and just go, you're not allowed to swear. Good Lord, Marty, it's fucking 2024.
Yeah.
Deliberate. Sorry, listeners, but I just thought.
He said that. He threw that in deliberately because he just is making a point. That's the whole point of that.
To emphasise that.
And, the thing is that everywhere we go in life, people are swearing. You hear it on Shortland Street. You hear it in the news, for goodness sake, these days.
You hear it on radio and some other stations, of course.
Yeah,
Marty.
but so look, I just think it's insane and infantile at the same time. I want to go back to Liam Lawson. So, what do we expect from him? What do they expect of him more? And so at the moment we've got USGP, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, which isn't the USGP, that's the Las Vegas GP, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, potentially 6 rides. So what, if they put him in this car, do they want to see from him? Because it's about him getting a ride next year as opposed to even sitting in the car this year, isn't it?
Yeah, primarily. But if they do park Daniel Ricciardo, the seat for this year and next year is vacant, which would be Lawson's. But what they'll be looking for is for Lawson to bring the car home in one piece between now and the end, primarily. And also to be able to, if he can, to be a little bit of a wingman to help Verstappen, although it sounds really odd to say that Lawson might be helping Verstappen. But don't forget, last year when he was stepped in for Ricciardo, he actually forced Verstappen, he knocked him out of Q3.
It's Only Sport with Martin Devlin on the platform. Brought to you by One New Zealand. Let's get connected.